How's it going, New World? Sethphir here, and we are back once again. Today, I wanted to sit down and talk about my launch impressions for New World, as we have really not had a moment to sit down and speak on this. So I wanted to kind of go over this for new players, or maybe people that are not in the game yet, but are scouting around for it and are thinking about joining. Go ahead and do it. Trust me, it's worth it. But seriously, though, we'll talk about some pros and some cons. There's a lot of interesting things that you can do here. So basically, what it comes down to is on the 28th, the game launched, and there were so many people wanting to play this game, right? So many, in fact, that the server queues were a bit tragic. There was some servers that were running with 75k person queues. Like, the wait time was immense just to get in and create a character, and then they had to create new servers, then they had to create more new servers, so the launch day was a bit rocky. That's definitely fair to say. Me, myself, I was like, yeah, I ain't playing in this 50k queue wait time, so we went ahead and switched to one of the new servers that they put up, and we've been cruising ever since. It's been no problem. They also announced free character transfers, so as soon as, in 2 weeks when they get that wrapped up, you can kind of really pick where you want to go. So no harm done all in all, just maybe they could have done a bit of better planning for that one. But to be fair, every launch has its kind of mistakes, right? So aside from that, the game has been beautiful and flawless. I wanted to take some time to talk about some pros and also some cons and give you an idea as to whether or not this game would be for you, or if you're already playing it, just tell you some things that you can look forward to, right? So New World, we'll start with the basics. It's essentially a full-scale MMO with PvP as well. It's very centered around PvP. If you take a look at the map here, then you will see that there are territories in different colors. There's 3 factions, and factions can fight and claim and wage wars on each other for control over a territory, right? And so when you gain that territory, like right now, I own Everfall, right? I can basically decide what upgrades are going in terms of crafting and the taxes for the land and things of that nature. So it's really cool in a sense that you can kind of conquer the playable world, right? Outside of that, there's a lot of PvP instances. There's also Outpost Rush, which is a pretty cool, if you're familiar with Arathi Basin, or it's kind of like a League of Legends style map as well. You kind of get in and just duke it out between a team and see who comes out on top. There are duels and PvP flagging. You can opt in or opt out of PvP flagging, so you can kind of choose whether or not you are going to participate in that. So, that's the PvP side of things. The PvE side of things is amazing. Starting at level 23, you can start entering dungeons, and from there on out, every 10 levels or so, there's a new dungeon leading into the end game. The dungeons are hard. The combat is action-based, like this. If I swing this weapon, it is going to hit someone that's in that hitbox. It doesn't matter anything else. That weapon has to connect with them. So you got a lot of reaction time-based things like dodging, like this, and a stamina bar to manage. And then you can also block and do some other things like that. So it's got a great feel to the combat. The combat feels alive. Every time you use a skill, it has impact. It has, you feel like you're pushing that enemy and making them take that damage. And it's really cool to see that reaction with everything. The PvE side of things is exactly like that. There's bosses that you have to tank with mechanics of shields and all kinds of stuff. You have to block, dodge, and learn his skill set, because if you don't learn his skill set, then he will punish you heavily and you'll most likely die. They have mechanics and puzzles and all kinds of things in there. So this is honestly one of the harder games I've seen with combat. It's almost like Dark Souls like combat in the end game, where you just really don't want to get punished by a combo from a boss, because if you do, it's probably not looking great for your team. That's for sure. But there's tons of economic stuff. You can gather all these resources, and the crafting professions are super deep in depth. There's auction house where you can sell all these resources, sort all these resources, and it's everything you would expect from a full MMORPG. So if you're coming from WoW or Final Fantasy, it has all that and more. It's just the updated version for 2021 of what a good MMORPG should be. And that is the awesome side, because I've been playing a lot. I've been having a blast. I know everyone in my guild has been playing. We're all having a blast. There's a great sense of teamwork and camaraderie between the factions, between the guilds, and even rivalry coming from a lot of opposite factions and a lot of opposite guilds. So it's really cool to see all of that kind of slamming into place here. There's tons of major streamers pushing out content, tons of viewership on Twitch. I think it was one of the most played games on Steam, and it had like almost 1 million concurrent users or something like that. Just a bunch of people going on. So now is the time to check out this game. If you are waiting, go ahead and pick this game up, because it is very, very good, right? Like, and I'm not just saying this to say that. There is no pay to win element. The store is all like cosmetic base. Let's see, I could pull it up here. But basically you can kind of see, that's not a bad thing. There we go, store. So, you know, you can see it's just like dyes and things like that, emotes, just so you can like flex on people, and like different skins and things like that. So there's no pay to win at all whatsoever. It's all just strictly like, hey, I want to look cool or something like that. So that's kind of the cool element to it. If you are a crafter, you will thoroughly enjoy this game. Like, there is all kinds of stuff you can do. Just to take a look at one of the menus here, you can craft all kinds of different items with different components, add your own flair to power it up, and extra special resources that force the item to have certain perks. So it's like very Diablo-esque in the variants of the item attributes and things like that. So you'll kind of get these ranges, and you'll always be on that quest to make that like perfect item, especially in the end game. We're going to see a lot of really strong best in slot perfect lottery pieces being made, where it's just like 1 in like 36,000 odds, and if you pull that off, you just feel like, you know, you won $1 million, right? And it's just amazing to kind of make these items. So it's really cool to see all that. From a competitive PvP standpoint, there's a lot of potential here, so if you haven't gotten in already, I would definitely check that out. So if you're a big WoW Arena fan or anything like that, this would be straight up your alley. It's a great place to go in and quest with friends. It's a great place to go in with a group or a guild. Like, seriously, grab your favorite person and run in here, run a tank healer combo or something, and run through all the dungeons and stuff. It's a blast. Like, even if you don't end up playing this game forever, if you just play this for like, you know, a week or two, you will get your money's worth out of it. Like, you'll feel like you made a lot of progress, even just as like a standalone regular RPG. Like, there's a massive storyline with all kinds of quests, and there's like a bunch of lore hidden within the world in terms of these like runes and journals and things like that. So there's tons to discover, there's tons to explore, and there's even like more coming. Like, they already have like the map edge off over here. There's secrets to unlock, new worlds to explain. If you scroll all the way out, see, that's what's there. All this map space is potential later game content. So, you know, we're seeing massive expansions that could be coming in the future, and tons of just like great depth and variety, right? Like, you'll have this zone will be like a forest and overgrown like blighted zone, where this higher one up here will be all like the snowy, like, you know, exploding mountain area, and just kind of like interesting things to that regard. So I hope this kind of helps anybody that, if you're like on the border, sort of thinking about, you know, whether or not you should play this game. I definitely think you should. There's tons of skills and depth variety, so you can pick and mix and match any of these combinations. So if you want to be a tanky healer, you can do so. You can have a life staff and a sword and a shield, make yourself a paladin. Whatever you can dream up, you can kind of make, right? And you can level up all of these trade skills at the same time. You don't have to pick one or two like WoW or something. You can get every single one. You can play around with your attributes. It's very generous on the respec, so the theory crafting potential is almost endless, literally. There's so much that you can do with these things. So it'll be really cool to see how the meta and the game evolves, as everybody's super hyped and interested in this stuff, and they're really like logging it in and just having a great time. So once again, if you have not tried New World already, please give it a go. It is fantastic. If you already are playing New World, you know why we're here. This game's amazing. I think we're all in love with it. And if you haven't already, check out a lot of the content that I will be putting out now and in the future, as we will be putting out tons of guides, videos, secrets, PvP stuff, advice, and all things of that nature, as I put quite a lot of hours into the alpha and the beta, and I'm gonna catch you guys up, tell you all those secrets so that you don't feel like you're missing out on anything there. So go ahead and scout around the channel. We have a guide on pretty much everything that you could imagine. So if you did like this video and you found it helpful, or just maybe it excited you a little bit, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell down below. We also have a Discord, so if you're interested in chatting up with some people that are playing New World, or looking to speak with me, or just ask some questions or anything, you can check that one out. We also have a join button down below, which is for members that want to get access to cool badges and perks and emojis and things like that. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to look at that. Once again, everybody, thank you for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.